Welcome back. You're watching Daybreak on Arise News, and it's time to take a look at what's making the headlines in the papers this morning. Let's bring in Alapinni, an international human rights lawyer, and Sunday Isuwa is Group News Editor, Leadership Newspaper. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the program this morning. Let's begin the show right away. So start from the this day of record. Of course, the biggest story there, and we know Fubara is back in the saddle as the governor. And if you can pull up that and hear what he had to say, peace cheaper than war urges Rivers people to unite. Some of the riders there say 6 months emergency rule left state with hard lessons. Appeals to political leaders, assembly to bury the hatchet. Another writer there says promises renewal focus on governance, project inclusiveness, declares he will never take Tinubu's kindness for granted. That's one of the biggest stories. I think we also have that story as well on the front page of another paper there, which of course talked about the return of Fubara as well. I think Punch also has that. If you can pull up Punch as well. Why I refuse to challenge emergency rule. That's coming from Fubara on the front page of the Punch newspaper. You can see that there. Another one on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Afri-land tower tragedy, survivors tell horrific tales of Lagos high-rise inferno. But let's get back to this day of record as we, begin a review from there. One other story there, business story, says NGX transactions surge 99% to 6.92 trillion in 8 months. But let's begin from the biggest story of the day. Fubara, peace cheaper than war, urges Rivers people to unite. Let's start with you, Kola. Of course, he's back in the saddle and you've heard his speech. He was talking about the fact that he's going to bury the hatchet. There is no plan to even challenge Tinubu's, decision on talking about the emergency rule. And he has also made very important point. He said, I've learned some lessons. So what are the lessons here? How do we move forward from from here? What next for Fubara? Let's start from you, Kola.
Well, congratulations to Mr. Fubara. He's back into the saddle. But I don't think he knows what war really means when he says peace is cheaper than war. Because River State was not a war. It was just a tussle between two political gladiators, probably between Godfather-Godson, him and Mr. Wiki. The real people who are facing insurgency and war are the people of Plateau and Benue State. And that is where the government should have declared a state of emergency on security issues and arrest whatever is going on there. But that was an obiter. That's by the way. Has he learned lessons? He says he has, and we look forward to a more harmonious father-son relationship between him and his benefactor. At the end of the day, I think the people of Rivers were poorer for it. Because I don't see what the former naval chief did in Rivers. Rivers was not a war. Squabbles, tension, etc. So I don't. Now they're asking him to account for how he spent the money in the last 6 months, because nobody could question him. Immediately, Mr. Fubara was removed. Government released money to him, and he says he has carried out the president's mandate. So,
he said that last week, which he says that, I fulfilled Tinubu's mandate. But the choice of
I think that was a very, that was a very assumptive statement. He didn't do anything extraordinary in River State. It wasn't even needed in River State. It was an unfortunate incident that happened, and it had to be drafted in. But the people who actually need this emergency rule are the people of Plateau and Benue, and we need to stop the killings going on at the Plateau and Benue states.
I think the choice of peace is better than war. The choice of words by Fubara. Let me bring you in here. Sunday is the fact that if you look at the drama, the fight, the tussle, of power for, I mean, for power, yes, of course, the quest for control in River State prior to this emergency rule. I think that was what prompted that choice of word. How do you react?
Yes, it's good as he returned, but then for him to say that he decided not to challenge the emergency rule because of the president, I think he did us a disservice, because he has just pushed a legal action forward. The Supreme Court have failed to interpret whether the president have the right to remove an elected governor. So his inability to go to court to seek for that interpretation, it actually pushed some legal fight in the front. Then again, why will he, not go to court to challenge that the president decision? That's one. Then I think Mr. Fubara, he needs to, think inward.
But of course, he has advisors. He must have been advised and said, "Look, you know what? Let's bury the hatchet." He has advisors who may have advised him.
It was cheaper and easier
not to go
for
that
him
way.
to just keep mum and wait it out.
Yeah.
Well, I am one of the people who think, I mean, if you look at the law, I think the president has the powers to declare a state of emergency.
But the circumstances surrounding
to remove a sitting governor.
No, I didn't use that word. I said I think the president, I said I'm one of the people who think that the president has the powers to declare a state of emergency. Though that section in the Constitution is not for decoration. But there must be due process. It must follow due process. It's not, you just don't act draconian. In this case with Fubara, the president ought to go to the National Assembly and seek consent. He didn't. He did it after the fact, if you remember. He read his speech and everything, and then he went to the National Assembly. That's medicine after death. So I don't think due process was followed to the letter. Some people will argue that sometimes, you can bury the due process if you need to act swiftly or whatever. And that's why I keep saying that, was that intervention in that manner needed in River State, or was it needed in Plateau and Benue? And the answer is blowing in the wind, like.
I think Fubara, within a short period, may be joining the APC. Even if he did not join APC, mark my word, that peace deal is for the support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the 2027 general election, because Wike wanted someone who will actually support the president, and he has gotten it, and there is peace now.
Well, River State is very vital due to its treasure-based nature.
Right.
So it's a key state in southern politics on who emerges as president of Nigeria. So definitely I agree with what Doc said. We'll soon find out if Fubara traded his soul.
We'll wait to find out
whether Fubara traded his soul for
governance is of priority
rivers
now
or not.
For him. I mean, he's back in the saddle, and so people want to expect him to say, okay, how does he govern the state going forward? Are we going to see, a cordial relationship between him and the assembly? I think these are some of the questions that people are waiting to see. Things that people wait to unfold in the coming days. But let's move on now.
I think all parties should, by now, everybody should just relax and allow.
Okay, let's see what plays out in the coming days. Let's take a pull-up punch now. Afriland Tower tragedy. Survivors tell horrific tales of Lagos high-rise inferno. And if you look at the front page, pictures of the deceased, those who were passed on, may their soul rest in perfect peace. Of course, it was unfortunate and, unfortunate incident there. But that also speaks to how we respond to emergency here. All through the incident, we didn't hear of, a swift response from those who are supposed to be there to respond to this emergency. What does it tell about, approach to emergency, responding to such emergency, because this should have been avoided actually. About 8 of them, we lost 8 of them.
Well, my condolences to the families of the people who passed away in that inferno. So, our country is very bizarre. We become very bizarre in some of these things which are supposed to, protect us. I'll give you an example. You'll find out in developed countries, I really don't like using that word, developed and underdeveloped, but for lack of a better use, in more advanced countries, you have fire hydrants, which are like pumps in strategic places by the roadside, where once this kind of inferno goes on, the fire trucks don't really carry water abroad because it's heavy to move the fire truck and you're running around. So it's cheaper, faster response. If a fire truck is empty and it goes to the hydrant closest to where an incident is occurring, it plugs into that hydrant and then they can get water. So is it going to work here? We don't have fire hydrants. Even if we have fire hydrants, do we have water? Even if we have fire hydrants and water, we have an incident where the former Minister of Aviation told us that he bought one fire truck for over ₦1 billion for the airport. I mean, it's just a comedy of errors. And I know Lagos State has a very robust response to incidences like this. In fact, they created a whole outfit different from the emergency fire services, which they have their own neighborhood network thing. And with a couple of years ago, there were pictures of the equipments which they had and all. And I'm surprised as in how this was not deployed, or maybe it wasn't deployed on time. We've even had incidences where fire trucks were being prevented from accessing some of these markets in Lagos Island. We need to go to the drawing board and rejig this. It's a sad incident.
Okay, because of our time, I would like to bring you on this one. Leadership is next. If we can put that up Sunday, I need you to respond to it. Yes, of course, the biggest story day of the day, which says that why I didn't challenge emergency rule. That's coming for Fubara. He says he has learned lesson, 6 cooperation from the National Assembly members there. We are ready to join APC under strong conditions. That's coming from Kwakwan. So another headline there says federal government campaign 1 million naira as minimum wage. Well, NSC starting general, and they say that's NSC acting secretary general was saying that federal government can actually pay 1 million naira as minimum wage. That's coming from NLC.
We're going to end up being Zimbabwe. We're going to end up being Zimbabwe very soon.
Well, of course, it's, I mean, some have said it's possible, but I need you to respond.
But if it's possible, should we go down that route?
No, it's not possible.
But we're ready to join APC under strong conditions. I need you to respond to that. That's coming from Kwankwaso.
Yes. Kwankwaso is a very strong politician in Kano State, and with the death of late former President Muhammadu Buhari, and with Atiku in a different political party, I think Kwankwaso is the next political heavyweight that you can say that can get votes outside his base state, because he has followership all over the country, even though they may be abysmally, but then Kwankwasia movement, they are in every state. And the reason why Kwankwaso didn't join APC all this while is because his former deputy Ganduje was the chairman of the party, and you know how they parted ways. When Ganduje served as his deputy and later emerged the governor of the state. And so Kwankwaso have this pride that Ganduje, who has been with him, he has been following him, they have been political ally even before 1999. So how will he join a party, and at the end of the day, Ganduje will be chairman of the party, then he will now be a follower when he has other followers, like the Kwankwasia movement. But with the exit of Ganduje, I told people that, look, just wait and see. Kwankwaso will soon join APC. And the battle now is not about 2027, it's about 2031. Now, who are the strong politicians in the north that may contest the presidency if they are alive up to 2031. Kwankwaso will be one of them.
I love two things I said. If they are alive to 2030, if they are alive to 2031, and also I think Kwankwaso needs the president more than the president needs Kwankwaso. He has a cult following in Kano. That's about it. I don't see a Kwankwasia movement swinging votes in Western Nigeria or Eastern Nigeria. And so maybe for 2031 and alignments, for political purposes, yeah, but I don't see Kwankwaso determining the fate of who becomes president in 2027. If these gladiators are still alive in 2031, if we are still alive in 2031, it's God that owns life. So it will be interesting to watch, but I don't. He moving to APC with heavy conditions and all. This is political banter. He can deliver Kano State, but that's about it.
And that's what the president wants.
Okay.
He wants to get Kano.
Yeah.
But again, Kwankwaso also have an internal crisis within the ANPP. You know how that merger came into be. Kwankwaso went to meet the founder of the party that, okay, look, I want to join this party with my followers, and they sign agreement. I was part of the people that were in the meeting where they agree when he brought in his people, the Kwankwasia movement, and another group. They now, talk to the founder of the NNPP, and they agreed, they signed memorandum of understanding. But along the line, after he won Kano, he has a governor there. So they begin to have issues within the party, and they now have two factions, because the other group feel that they have been sidelined in the affairs of the state, and Kwankwaso to feel that all the elected people, both in the National Assembly and in the Kano State House of Assembly, including the governor, they are his people. So he was just running his things, and so the ANPP is not a safe place for him. And definitely the governor must contest in the 2027 election. So what will happen? So they need to find a soft landing right now. And that's why I'm telling you that he and his followers, including the governor, will join the APC.
I think a strong person that we should look out for in Kano is Abdul Jibril. I think that's
who was sacked by the ANPP.
Well, he's not just a rising star; he's an entrenched star in Kano politics, and it's much younger, vibrant.
Well, I mean, some people say, look, it's 2027 is key for the APC now, and so they want to pull every heavyweight that they can get on their side, and so. I mean, 2027 is key, so you cannot really push that aside. If
APC can get Kano, I think their result in the north will be of improvement to 2023, because I know regions that Tinubu, like Kaduna, that Tinubu didn't win, but can I show you that he's going to win because there is.
All right.
There are some alignments now.
Let's quickly run with this story now. The Guardian, let's pull off Guardian quickly. And the Guardian says, inside Niger communities where women, children grown amid thriving artisanal mining. And if you take a look at that story, it paints a picture of what women and, of course, children go through in that particular state. But let's move away from that quickly and run and take a look at international headlines now. Daily Mail, alarming new escalation. NATO warplanes intercept Putin's jets over Estonia. This, of course, but let's also pull up FT Weekend, that's Financial Times Weekend now, which talked about the giving green lights to digital ID. That's talking about Stama giving green light to digital ID plan, push to get grip on illegal migration. I think this digital plan is just a way to identify those coming into the city, and also to give access to those who are coming for work or maybe get into the city or the town through working visa or work permit or so. But I think they are creating a kind of ID for them there. But let's start from issue of NATO warplanes intercepting Putin's jet over Estonia. And I mean, the conversation is that that's illegal, and that incursion is just a threat to the NATO member state. So let's, caller, I need you to react to that.
Well, this is exactly what Zelensky has always wanted in recent times. He wants to be part of NATO, and he wanted firm commitments from NATO. He sees joining NATO as a survival strategy from Putin, from Russia. And you can see the swift response of NATO, because Estonia is a member of NATO, isn't it? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but, yes, and that's the reason why NATO has robustly responded to warplanes from Putin. What's he looking for there? He's just a big bully. What's he looking for in Estonia? Why he does this show of force? At some point in time, I think Russia and China were doing this as well with the United States and the United Kingdom. They keep flying into the airspace of these territories, and they have to respond. It's like they're goading them, they're taunting them. They want to show, hey, we're here, we can come into your airspace. So this is international law and international politics at its brilliant best.
Yeah, sorry, comment on the on the last paper, which talked about the plan by Stammer, to create a kind of digital ID for workers, for migration. So speak to us about that.
Well, I think it's a good thing if you can't have a proper identification of migrants and all that. Creating an identity, it's a good thing. It helps in security, it helps in planning and some other stuff. So I think it's a good development.
I think we need to leave it there because of that. But thank you so much, gentlemen. Alapinni is international human rights lawyer. Thank you for your time on the program. And Sunday Isuwa, of course, is group news editor at Leadership Newspaper. Gentlemen, thank you for your time on Daybreak. Well, that's all we have time for here on Daybreak. I am Frank Komalape. It's goodbye from me. Please keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next. Bye-bye for now.